Thank you for double-clicking your mouse tonight. You're listening to the Midnight Frightcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight Frightcast episode number 42. Sitting across the table from me tonight is Maddie.
What's up?
And to my right, as always, is Patrick.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Tonight we are missing the Doctor of Filmonomics, but he may call in.
He might call in.
So we'll see if he shows up. Let's just kick this shit off tonight with some news. Who wants to start?
Greg says he's calling right now.
That motherfucker, just right in the middle of the news.
I know, we may even just want to restart and introduce everybody, but I think he's trying to call through.
I told him to call through the other thing. This is great. We should just leave this all. Who cares? I mean, it's unended. Well,
here we go.
Ooh, oh, there's the ring.
Here we go.
Is the call coming from inside the house?
This is Greg calling to ruin the cast. That fart.
All right. Hey.
Hey.
All right.
Hey, there he is.
Ooh, we hear him.
We do hear you. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately Greg just joined us. What I was going to say is, unfortunately, Greg, you're going to be staring at the ceiling because just technical stuff.
Such is.
All right.
Hey, Greg, do you have news?
Are you guys in the news segment?
Well, we haven't started. You just interrupted it. So
we just got done with introductions.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Wow.
So, hey, everybody, there's the Doctor of Filmonomics himself, Greg the Movie Guy.
What's up?
So let's talk about some news. You want to start, Patrick?
I can start.
Let's start.
This actually is bouncing off something that Maddie reported on one of the last Frightcasts with Jordan Peele bringing back the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And actually, they just announced that they are remaking one of their most popular episodes, which is the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet.
The plane episode.
The plane episode with William Shatner. And they have cast Adam Scott in the William Shatner role.
That could be kind of interesting.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah,
good
I think
choice.
so as well. So that could be pretty cool.
That's against type casting, too. He's not a horror genre.
Well, he did Krampus, didn't he?
He did Krampus, but I mean, that was kind of
And then
horror.
what was that other one he did that was comedy horror? The one with the little kid.
Yeah,
that was
I know what you're talking about.
Omen-esque.
Yep. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, was that your one? Was that your first one?
That was my first one. I've got 3, but I don't know if we need to jump on all of them.
Are they like remaking a lot of the Twilight Zone episodes, or are they going to have new episodes?
I hope they have new episodes,
Yeah.
but I think that's such an iconic one that maybe they kind of felt they had to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Greg, do you have news?
You know, I actually do.
Oh, yeah, go with one, dude.
So I came across an article. I was skimming through Facebook yesterday. Or not yesterday, but a couple days ago. And I came across an article that said that they were going to remake the movie Wrong Turn. And I died inside.
Yeah.
No.
I died inside.
I think actually casting's been done.
Just no.
Stop.
Well, they ended the franchise at 6. So it's done. They're making no more. So if you want more Wrong Turn movies, which I don't know why you would, they're going to have to start at square one. And kind of make those over again. That's all you're going to get. So
right. So I just leave it alone. I attempted to watch Wrong Turn 2 Dead End for our Halloween 31 marathon. I made it 15 minutes before I wanted to punch not only myself in the face, but three of the characters in the face.
I have all 6 if you want to see any more of them, Greg.
Ugh.
No? All right. Well, I would like to say they get
There's
better.
6 wrong turns.
Yeah. There's 6 of them.
There was a major wrong turn in there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's 6 of those.
It was after the first one.
Yeah. So I one of the news segments I have, since we're so close to Halloween, I thought I'd share a little Halloween news. Not the movie, but the actual holiday.
Yeah, save that rage.
Save the rage. A petition has been filed and now has 24,000 signatures to change the date of Halloween to the last Saturday of the month. This is mainly people are filing this for safety reasons because so many kids, I guess, get hurt on Halloween due to parents letting them trick or treat by themselves or not wearing bright enough costumes, not having flashlights. So the people signing the petition are saying it's mainly for safety reasons. The people that are kind of against the petition are mainly saying they want to do that because they feel like they can sell more candy and costumes. because it's not on a school night, so more kids will go out. They will stay out later, therefore selling more candy, and the holiday being safer in general.
That's such horseshit. We all know you just want to get high and drunk and not have to deal with it.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. You want to have it on a Saturday night so you can party all night at these costume parties and everything else.
That's fine. Like, I know Halloween does have some sort of like history where it was like a sacred day. It's a commercial holiday now. We all know it. It's fine.
It's still a religious holiday to somebody.
It's fine. Hail Satan.
Yeah,
it's all cool. But no, I think that would be actually a great idea to have it the last Saturday of the month. And because I'm one of those people, I want to go out and get messed up and not have to go in with raccoon eyes the next day and be like, oh, it's all good. Give me that report.
Yeah. Well, right. I mean, great that it's on. My kids are like, Dad, why does Halloween always fall on a goddamn school night?
Are they really saying a goddamn
sometimes
school night?
His kids, sure.
They're like, we can only trick or treat till like 7, 8 o'clock, and then we got to get up at 6 o'clock the next morning, and I'm tired, and I want to stay up all night and eat candy. And for kids' sake, it's a great idea. And they can go out on the Saturday, they can trick or treat, and they don't have to get up the next day. Yeah. But it's been, for me, October 31st for as many years as I've been alive. Mm-hmm. And to change it, it wouldn't feel the same.
Right. It wouldn't, but
the 31st is the 31st is an iconic day, and it needs to stay.
I don't know. I feel like I always celebrate Halloween like the weekend before or after. So like even though it would always be the 31st in my head, like at the same time, I'm normally doing my celebration stuff before or after. Yeah. So.
And if it wasn't on the 31st, how could the asylum schedule the day for Michael Myers to be moved to another hospital?
They're gonna have to re-edit Halloween and change that date. What the fuck is he doing over there,
Greg?
What?
Are you blowing bubbles, or what are you doing?
Are you unboxing something with another box inside of it? Oh, that's all we can hear is rattling over there.
What are you?
So that was right, one of my news. You got another one, Patrick?
I do. The script for Labyrinth sequel is done, and they've slated Fede Alvarez to direct it.
That's going to be awesome. Fede Alvarez is awesome.
Yeah, he is.
I love all his shit.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I had another one. Victor Miller, the original writer of Friday the 13th, recently rewon the rights. Yeah, he re-won the rights back to his creation and will be working on a reboot with LeBron James Spring Hill Production Studio.
I cannot wait. I hope LeBron James plays Jason Voorhees.
Yes.
I swear to God. Please let that happen.
But it is co-produced by Vertigo. So they're the people who made it.
So awful.
I will watch that as long as LeBron only foots the bill. If he touches any creative aspect on that, I'm gonna fly out to LA and beat the shit out of him.
It's gonna be a train wreck before it even starts. It really is.
Yeah, I think what he's trying to do is get on the reboot of Halloween. Yeah, see if it can be as successful as that. But yeah, it's scary.
Well, Greg sits there and continues to flush the toilet or whatever he's doing over there.
We don't know what's going on over there.
I got one more news story. Jamie Lee Curtis is set to return to Halloween again. She says that she's on board if Danny McBride and David Gordon Green are involved. And the two writers have already said they've had a story in mind of how to continue it even before Halloween 2018 came out. I'm going to rage here. So
we're going to get to what you've been watching and we'll just let you take over the microphone.
I'm not going to let the rage out during the news. So Greg, you got another news story?
That was it. Just the one.
All right. Okay. Let's move. You know what happened though? You introduced the news and there was no news segment music coming in.
I'm okay with that.
No. Let me finish it.
That was the news, Greg.
It's the news.
Thanks, Patrick.
Just for you, Josh.
I know.
Just for you.
Hey, we watched the trailer tonight. I don't know if Greg watched it, but we sure as shit did. Greg, have you watched that trailer? Okay, well...
Wait. No, which trailer was it? Sorry.
The Curse of La Llorona.
Yes, I did. I apologize. Yes, I did, because I had recommended we watch that one.
The Curse of My Sharona.
La Llorona.
So, Greg, you did watch it?
I did, yes.
You want to start then?
Because you
I don't have a lot to... Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. The only cool thing about this is I remember when I was in college many, many moons ago learning in my Spanish class about this actual curse. So I need to go back and dig through my notes from Spanish class if they still exist and kind of remember what this is all about and see how a movie turns out about it, because I really liked the trailer. I thought it was very very intriguing. I like that really long shot on the car and just the kind of going back and forth between the windows and the two kids in the car.
All right.
This is why I come to Lincoln.
It's like that interview with the guy whose kids keep coming into the back, and the wife's trying to shuffle the kids back out of the room.
Right. So it looks intriguing from the trailer. I'm excited because it brings about some nostalgia for me from actually learning something through my Spanish class. So I'm excited to check it out.
The only thing I learned in my Spanish class was how to order beer. That's the only thing I can remember.
How do we do that?
Dos cervezas,
All right.
por favor.
La cerveza.
I remember useless phrases
Shut
like
up.
like
I said two.
I remember useless phrases like "saca la lengua," which is
All right.
What?
I already. This is gonna go south, Patrick.
this is stick out your tongue.
Oh, okay.
Why would I remember that?
Why did you learn that?
I couldn't even tell you.
Maddie, what did you think about the actual trailer?
My Spanish teacher also taught with puppets, and this was in college.
What the?
There you
Sexy. Go, Maddie.
Saca la lengua.
That sounds like a horror movie all on its own.
Yeah, I am really creeped out. I think I've said before, I'm kind of hot or cold on the whole Conjuring universe and everything. It's not my absolute favorite, but I actually thought this movie looked interesting. I didn't watch The Nun. I didn't really have any interest in it, but
Right.
I do like possession movies.
And I probably misled you when I said that the guy, when we were talking about Conjuring universe thing, because this one is directed by the guy who's going to direct Conjuring 3.
Oh, then I just can't pay attention or listen, guys,
No,
and this has nothing to do with shit. But it looks okay. So it still kind of ties in, I think. Who fucking knows? But anyway, I thought this movie looked interesting. I wouldn't rush out and see it, but I don't know. As I said, I like possession movies. I think they're really cool, and this kind of reminded me of one. And Greg's right. The shot on that car was really cool. The windows coming down and everything. So I think I'll check it out.
I need to know when this movie takes place because it was rolling the windows down as opposed to power windows and stuff like that. And I couldn't really tell by the costumes that they were wearing or anything like that.
Well, it's kind of,
Well, that and the actual setting of it, because it could be taking place somewhere in like Mexico or something,
true.
which
Yeah.
that could set back too.
well, that was kind of like that piece of shit movie we watched the other week, Murder Party, where I couldn't tell when it was set and it bothered me. And like same thing here. I'm like, I need to know like what year this is. Otherwise I'm going to be like just confused, I guess.
Murder Party is the movie that got me put in movie jail. So thanks for bringing that back in, Maddie.
Oh, it's fine. I'll be there too eventually.
Patrick's looking some stuff up, so I'm going to drop my 2 cents really quick. I thought there was a lot of cool imagery in the film, but nothing really new that I was super excited about. I feel like horror right now is like really saturated with these kinds of films. You know, Haunting on Netflix and Haunting of Hill House on Netflix and Possession of Hannah Grace and 900 other possession movies that are really coming out this year anyway. But it's smart because it's easy and it's cheap to make these kind of movies and they sell. So you're going to get a good return generally on this kind of movie without putting a lot into it. There was a lot of jump scares that I just thought were like fails. There's been some jump scares in some trailers that have been legit pushback on the jump, but there was a couple in here and they were just awful.
Yeah.
They were from a mile away. You just, you know, they're coming. So
that's exactly it. You know, they're coming. The kid's staring off into darkness. Of course, something's going to pop out of the darkness and come get him. I got to tell you that one of the most effective jump scares I've seen in a trailer recently is Pet Sematary, and it was a goddamn semi.
It was semi, yeah. And it was the noise, not even the semi.
Exactly.
You know,
so I don't think it was quite as effective in this trailer.
Yeah, and I'm honestly okay with like having jump scares that don't really work, and I don't know why, except for I don't like jump scares. I think they're cheap because like it's just a noise and a flash. Anyone can do that. It doesn't take any great horror making skills, but like I think if you have those in there, but they're not flashy and obnoxious, I think it's fine. I think it adds to more of like the creepy atmosphere that I think is more effective than having like just shit popping out everywhere. Like,
and you don't want like, I'm not looking for 20 jump scares in an hour and a half long movie, but if you're going to pop 2 in there, put 2 in there that are going to be effective and push people back. And I know you're not a huge fan of jump scares really either, Patrick, but
for me, the most effective jump scares are sounds.
Yeah.
Because those seem to get me more than anything else. But if it's a visual jump scare, it usually doesn't get me at all. I'm not a big fan of seeing stars that I know in movies like this. However, this one has Linda Cardellini in it, and I think she's a very, very talented. Yes, Greg, I agree with you. Greg's on the phone clapping. I think she's a very, very talented actress, but I don't think she's so mainstream that it takes away from this movie. So I'm kind of looking forward to it in that sense and seeing her getting back out, because I don't know that she's done a lot lately. And for those of you who don't know who that is, she was in Freaks and Geeks, she was in Grandma's Boy, a couple other things.
She had a brief role in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
That's right. Yep.
That's probably the most recent one I've seen her. She was also, I take that back, she was also in the Netflix series Crap. I can't think of the name of it.
Crap was a great
Netflix series.
Yeah.
Crap.
It was straight garbage.
I'm sure they've made it.
There was a boat on fire on the picture. I can picture that. I can't think of the name of the show, though.
It was called Boat on Fire.
With crap on it.
With crap on it.
Crappy boat on fire. We'll go with
The
that.
crap boat on fire.
Yeah, is that everybody's kind of thoughts on that trailer? Who's going to go
I was
see
going to
it?
say from the trailer, who's going to see it? Yeah.
No, I won't go. I won't go rush out and see it.
It'll probably be a rental or streaming. Yeah.
There's a legit trailer I saw called The Possession of Hannah Grace during when I went and saw Halloween, and that looked fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that looked really
that
good.
is like, that trailer was legit. So if you're going to make me pick between the two, I want to go see Hannah Grace over La Llorona every day of the week.
And I think that was one that I suggested because I know how much Greg loves possession exorcism movies.
Yeah. So,
Ha!
dead still.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about real quick. We're going to mix our what we've been watching really kind of with our topic because they kind of go hand in hand. So we've been doing a 31-day horror challenge. It's almost over. I failed miserably, but we're going to kind of mix that in with what we've been watching. So I don't know really if we want to kind of round robin, like maybe a handful of ones that we've seen that we're like, I love that one.
Well, I think there's one movie we have in common that 3 of us have seen.
Yeah.
That we probably want to take 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Because I know, Josh, you could probably go on for 20 minutes about
Cut me off.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm timing you.
Exactly. I'm looking
That's
at
it?
the
Just
screen.
20?
No, we could do a 2-hour cast on Halloween, but nobody wants that.
He got a little bit of it out before we got on.
We'll hit Halloween last. Is that fair?
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it with Halloween. Maddie, let's start with you.
As I've said before, I've been focusing on like independent shorts, short films. I have been watching a couple full-length movies, but not a ton. And I've kind of been seeing a little bit of a trend in these movies, and it kind of ties into that article I sent you guys. I'm not sure if anybody read it, about why horror movies are kind of big right now, and it's because people think they're easy to make. And a lot of the shorts that I've seen... What the fuck are you doing?
I think Greg and Emily just got back from IKEA, and they're putting like a China hutch together or something like that.
I raced home so that I could be a part of this, and you're ripping on it.
We miss you,
Why
Greg.
should that be any different than any other time you're on?
I don't
pod
know,
with us?
but god damn it, stop it.
But anyway, the article basically says that horror movies are considered easy to make, so a lot of people just make them because they think they make a lot of money. And what I saw with a lot of these shorts is the ones that were well done as far as how they looked and sounded and everything were not very good content-wise. Like, they looked amazing. You could tell, like, they got people, like, legitimate actors and not assholes on Craigslist. Like, you can just tell that they put a lot of time and effort to how the movie looked, but then it was just a cliche. The whole movie was just a horror movie cliche. Like, there was one movie I watched, I couldn't tell you the name of it right now, that was, the monster was literally someone crouched over with like a towel on them or something, and I was like, you lazy motherfucker. But the movies that had awesome stories and awesome ideas were not very well done. So I don't know if that kind of says something about independent films in general.
So would you rather see something visually appealing, or would you rather have a story that you I'd
like the whole package.
Yes, but if you had to pick,
I would rather have the idea of it and the story, because like I think you can have a cool looking movie but still it falls flat. And then I don't want all style and no substance. That's like dating a really hot person with a shitty personality. Like eventually you're not gonna be interested anymore.
You don't know how many times I've heard that.
Yeah, me too. Have you seen a horror or a short that you would like to see made into a feature?
A couple, if they were done well, and one of them was called Don't Look Away, and it was about this girl that was looking out, and there was just a person hanging out in her backyard, and she calls her dad and is like, "Dad, there's some creepy dude out here." And he's
I thought the creature for that looked pretty cool. He was one with like the gunny sack on his head.
Yeah, it was really
like
cool. Yeah, there was a couple ideas.
Yeah, I tried to keep up with her shorts as she was.
Okay, cool.
I was trying to keep up with your shorts.
Yeah, keep out of my shorts.
As you posted,
this isn't that kind of marathon.
Exactly. Oh, believe me, it wouldn't be a marathon. Anyway,
but like my top,
Go ahead.
my top ones that I really liked, and my first one is not a short, but it also kind of goes against what I said about the style versus substance. I loved The Void. I have no idea what I watched. That was the biggest acid trip Tool music video, what the fuck thing I've ever seen in my life. But I loved The Void.
I wanted to hate that one, and I couldn't.
I did not like that movie.
Like we were sitting there, I watched it with my boyfriend, and like about 20 minutes in, we were like, I don't know what's going on, but this is really cool. And then like we just kept saying every like 20 minutes, they'll wrap this up, right? They'll wrap this up, right? Like it'll come together eventually, right? And it never came together, but it was so cool looking. Like the whole movie was just absolutely like visually, I thought really cool. So I guess that kind of blows my style versus substance, but this had style, man.
Yeah. And you watched a short today by one of my favorite filmmakers, kind of YouTube filmmakers, Drew Daywalt. Makes legit horror shorts.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's done a feature yet or not, but he has got some stuff on YouTube that is just straight fire. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Look that guy up.
Yeah, Bedfellows was the one I watched, and I even said on the post, I had no idea this was actually a short because I had seen like the clip of it roaming the internet for years, and it was just kind of a joke. And then it was on the list, and I was like, oh, I know what that looks like.
Yeah, look at his other stuff too, because Bedfellows is actually probably one of the lower end ones. He's got some really good stuff. So.
Yeah. A couple others that I really enjoyed was one called Closet Space, and it wasn't a scary movie, but it was
made by the same people that made Lights Out. Oh,
okay. Well, I think I liked, because I watched Lights Out, and I was just like, but I thought Closet Space was really interesting, although like, so the premise is this woman's got this closet that whatever you put in there, it like doubles, and she's like putting useless shit in there. I'd be throwing cash in there. I'd be throwing puppies in there. I'd be throwing expensive cheese in there. Like, what are you doing?
Cheese.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
The other one I really liked was a film called Jigsaw. That one was one that was actually really well done.
Yeah, we watched that a while back.
And was had an interesting story. The other one that I'm going to touch on real quick is called Waterborne. It had zombie kangaroos in it, guys. I do not like zombie movies.
What?
Yeah, it was zombie kangaroos.
Yeah, it had zombie kangaroos. And as I said, I don't like zombie movies, but like, I love movies that just kind of own their ridiculousness, which is why Freddy vs. Jason is like my favorite movie.
Now, I had seen Jigsaw a couple years ago, and it is beautiful, and it is a great story. It's just really, really good. So I suggest seeing that one.
Yeah,
we all watched that as a group.
A lot of these shorts, what I did notice kind of overall is the writing was a little clunky on a lot of them. And I think it was because very few of these movies had a lot of dialogue. And I think they just had to get so much background and story in what little dialogue they had. So it just kind of seemed really, really rushed. Or they just like talked too much or they had too much information in one like sentence or something, because that was something with the Jigsaw that I was kind of like, what? Be quiet, dude. So I think that was kind of, and I'm in the middle of a short right now, the Russian Sleep Experiment, that is a longer short. I think it's like 30 minutes. And I kind of think 30 minutes might be like the ideal short film time. And I know we've talked about that before, but I think it lets people get a little more time in and a little more, you know, what's going on. Because there were a couple of these that I'm like, this isn't a complete film. It's a scene from something. It doesn't wrap it up. It doesn't go anywhere. So I think, I don't know, maybe like 20 to 30 minutes is kind of like that ideal time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick?
I'm going to try to keep mine short because I know we want to take some time to talk about the thing we saw this weekend. As always, I challenged myself to see movies that I've never seen before, and I did 31 movies that I'd never seen before. And some of them stood out as ones that I would suggest to this group that maybe we review later on. One of them, in fact, we're doing tonight. The one that I'm still going to throw out there is Incident in a Ghostland, made by the same filmmaker who made Martyrs. And I know I probably don't want to see Martyrs because it's not my cup of tea. But this one was really, really good. So if you have a chance, see that one. It's called Incident in a Ghostland, or it's also called Ghostland. They changed the name a few times.
That's fine.
Cool.
That's
Greg,
it for me.
Yeah, that's until we get to our main one.
Until we get to that one.
Greg, you got a couple you want to toss out?
Yeah, I'm scanning through the our list of all the stuff that we've watched here, and I'm really surprised we haven't had more duplicates than we have. That's actually really impressive, given the number of people that we have in our group. So just kind of flipping through here, I kind of went on the same path as Patrick, where I wanted to catch up on a bunch of movies that I had never seen, more so classic horror films than just new ones that I hadn't seen. And I'm ending the month with 15 brand new movies that I had never seen. I have 16 priors that I've seen, but I also had one television series in there that I just started and added as my 30th entry. So I'll kind of start there and work my way backwards, only because the TV series that I'm watching is one that we had announced a while back, and I've been kind of excited and intrigued to check it out once it came out, and that was The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This TV series is nothing like you would expect. Like, it is dark beyond dark, and I love it. Fantastic. It's been great. I'm only 3 episodes in, and I can't wait to just finish off the series. It's that good. So within those, I'm going through my star ratings right now, and I had a lot more 4.5 star movies on here that I was anticipating I would have, and even one 5-star was a brand new movie that I watched, was Pet Sematary. I'm kicking myself for not having seen this movie up until this point, but I've seen it now, and I'm excited for the remake, and I don't know that I'll probably ever watch it again because I don't want to be that scared ever again. Some of my other favorites on there, there's a list of movies that I have to watch around this time. Strangers is one of them. Obviously, Halloween, I'm saving for Halloween, the new one, or excuse me, the 1978 version. Did go and see the new one. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Got to go back and rewatch As Above, So Below. And it took a different turn because the first time I had watched it was the first time I had seen it. But when I went into this viewing, I got to view it from the perspective of the the 9 Circles of Hell, Patrick, that you had come across.
Yep.
And that added a whole new level of viewing this movie, and it made me like it that much more. And then going back and watching the old Universal monster movies, Dracula probably was the shining star out of that entire thing. Bela Lugosi is just a fucking creepy guy, and just absolutely loved that one. Chernobyl Diaries was a surprise for me. I wasn't expecting to like that, and actually really loved it. Let's see. One Josh has been recommending for me to watch for a long time was Pet, and I finally got around to seeing that. It was pleasantly surprised by how that one turned out. That was a great story.
Yeah, that was a good one because there was that twist in there towards the end, and it just worked really, really well.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the last one that I want to give a nod to is, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, is one that you really didn't like, and that was It Follows.
Yeah, I fucking hate that movie.
I don't know what, like, the premise of it is fantastic. I love the I don't know if you call it a mythology, but the you have to sleep with somebody in order to pass this curse on, and you got to keep it going. Otherwise it comes back and returns and basically kills you. And it is an interesting way to look at like a paranormal type situation. And I really liked it. So I don't know what your situation is, but I'd love to discuss it with you sometime.
Yeah, that movie ended up, that and The Witch, 2 years in a row. I think it was 2 years back to back. The Witch and It Follows landed on a bunch of people's number one spot in their top 10. When we did our top 10, those movies were just on a lot of people's, like they were number one. And I was like, what are you seeing in these movies that are entertaining you? Because they're fucking boring. They're really boring.
I hate The Witch. I've gone on. I think you guys have seen my comments on that movie a lot. They can all nibble my sack. Everyone who made that movie, it was fucking terrible.
Get me wrong, because I watched that movie for our 31-day challenge, and I still fucking hate that movie. As fun as it is to look at, because visually it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
It is fucking really cool. Great to look at, but that movie is boring, and it's too long to be that boring. And It Follows it follows The Witch. It fucking is boring. It was just, I could not get into it. There's nothing about that movie that was, I was looking forward to watching one more minute of that shit. I couldn't do it. And again, I've watched that movie multiple times because I like to torture myself and hope to God that maybe next time I'll like it. And I don't.
I've been meaning to give it another chance because I'm like you. I just couldn't get into it because I thought it was boring. And It Follows. I will never watch The Witch again. Fuck that.
Yeah.
So Josh, what's that explanation of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result?
I'm right there, man. Don't get me wrong. I will straight admit it. I'm not right in my head. But the movies I watched, are you done, Greg? Were you done?
I wanted to give one more nod to one of my all-time favorite horror comedy movies, and that's Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Have to watch it. I
am maybe 25 movies into this thing, so I'm going to fail miserably unless I just take the route of Maddie and watch 6 short films, which I might do.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I officially suck at this right now. But some highlights that I have watched, I also, like Patrick, tried to do I'm going to watch new movies. I'm going to watch movies I have not seen. And then I felt so far behind, I was like, fuck it. Just bring me the ones I've seen so I can bang through them and write a little bit of a side note and then move on to the next one. So my goal, I failed at that too. But some of the movies that I have to watch, or I feel like I should watch during this challenge is I watched The Monster Squad. That's just a movie that's nostalgic for me. When I was a kid, that was a movie that I'd go and rent from the video store. Yes, those used to exist. And I'd come home with it every weekend. So I love that movie. I watched Tusk because that's just a movie that I have to watch. And it doesn't even have to be Halloween. That's just like a movie like, I need some background noise. I'm working on some shit. I'm going to throw in Tusk. That movie entertains me.
Josh.
Yeah.
When I commented on your Monster Squad one, you only gave it 3 stars?
I did, because it's not a perfect movie. There's problems with that movie, and I would love to see Shane Black do a remake of that movie. I know he's working on The Predator and shit right now, but I would love to see one of those guys, Fred Decker or Shane Black, take the Monster Squad and remake that shit for today, because I think it'd be a cool, and I think it'd be something kind of cool to do for a new generation of kids. And it's a nice, Monster Squad's a nice like intro to like parents that are throwing out, my kid wants to get into horror, but I don't know what to show them. Show them the Monster Squad. That's a nice little slide into horror, because there's not a lot of shit that's like super scary in the movie, but there's just enough spots in there that'll give you a little bit of a spook. So it's a nice little intro into horror films if your kid is wanting to get into that. But I have a list of a few things right now that I'm calling my list. The list of, I was really excited about these movies, but they're dog shit, so I wish I didn't watch them. And the first one was a movie called 12 Feet Deep. And it was about 2 sisters that get trapped in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. The cover goes, like somehow they forget to get out of the pool or some shit, even though the guy that's managing the place says, get the fuck out of the pool, I'm closing, it's the holiday. And he closes the cover, and they get trapped underneath this cover in this pool. And there's a janitor lady that's just a dick, and she will not open the cover unless they give her money or their jewelry or their cell phone or anything else they might have in that pool for whatever reason. She's just a dick, and they're dumb. They give her everything every time she asks for it, and she still doesn't open the pool. So I was really excited about that movie. I followed it for a long time, and I wish I didn't because it was awful. So I want that time back. I'll call that person whenever I need to call that person. And the other one that's on my list is The First Purge. I hope Marissa Tomei got a nice little paycheck for it, but that's about all that I got out of that movie. I wish they would have stopped at 1, I guess. I like 3, I guess, but there's no need to go that far into that franchise. So that's my list that I watched that were movies that I just had not seen before. There's a handful of there that I hadn't seen before. Most of the movies I watched, I had seen. So that was my list until we talk about Halloween.
Right.
And that's also on my list.
So what we should do is probably, once we're done with the marathon, is post our recommendations.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we should do that.
Cool. So it is what we've been watching. At least 3 of us have watched it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to watch the timer on here because...
Yeah, I'm moderating, y'all.
So amongst the 3 of us who've seen it, we're going to keep this at 5 minutes.
5 minutes. A piece or just...
5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Josh, 5 minutes.
Yeah, I got you, Greg. It's like asking you to be like Greg. One movie. It never happens.
All right. Well played. Well played.
Okay, who wants to go? Okay, I'm looking at this thing. I'm just going to ask who wants to go first. You've got 10 seconds before we start. Greg, do you want to start?
I can go.
You want me to start? Are you sure you want me to start? Because I'm 3 seconds, 2, and 1. I got to tell you, because I have not seen or really don't remember any of the sequels, even Rob Zombie's remake or any of this other stuff, I was able to sit down and really enjoy this movie, even with its plot holes and everything else, because I loved the shift from the matriarchy to the patriarchy. Excuse me. I love the shift from the patriarchy to the matriarchy in this thing, that they shifted a lot of things over to women empowerment. And that made me really, really enjoy this movie. Moving on.
Go ahead, Greg.
So I really appreciated Jamie Lee Curtis coming back and playing the role that she did, being the badass ready for basically the apocalypse to come down. And I really was intrigued by the meetup between her and Michael Myers. I wanted to see how that would entail. And watching Michael slash his way through this new Haddonfield was just as entertaining as watching him slash through it the first time. I think my biggest my biggest drawback on this was there was a lot of the first Halloween in this movie, and I feel like it kind of rode that path a little too closely for my liking. But I appreciated it for what it was. I didn't go in with the bar set too high because I wanted to enjoy this. I wanted to see what they were going to do with this new quote unquote sequel and how they were going to basically flush out, 2, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, and whatever else that they've done. So, I wasn't a huge fan of the characters outside of Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers, but I did enjoy the policeman played by Will Patton, I think his name was. Mm-hmm. And for what it was a decent movie.
All right,
yeah,
Josh.
I'm not going to go for very long. I'll be very nice.
I mean, you got 3 minutes.
It's not going to be the same rant that I gave before we jumped on this podcast because I feel like I got that out. But I'll hit some points because it was very angry, and I apologize. So I liked Halloween 2018 for what it was. It was gorier than ever. If you're comparing it to the 1978 version, there was some great gore in this movie. There were a ton of really great throwbacks to the first one with the white sheet and the ghost and the guy stuck to the wall with a knife and
spoilers.
Sorry. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Spoilers, I guess. I'm sorry. I didn't know the rules, so I don't know. Whatever. there's a ton of great throwbacks. There's a shot where the granddaughter's looking out the window from the first one and sees Laurie instead of Michael.
Yep.
So there's a ton of really great, the clothesline with the sheets hanging and Michael coming through those. Like, there's a ton of really great, awesome throwbacks to the very first 1978 Halloween. With that said, for a group of filmmakers that are asking you to forget every sequel from 2 through Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, fuck you. You cannot ask anybody to forget those movies and then reference them at every given goddamn turn like they're your idea. There's this movie, I'm sorry, we said spoiler, right? This movie ends like Halloween 2 and this movie ends like Halloween 4. And if you don't think it does, go back and watch Halloween 2 and Halloween 4 because they're the exact same goddamn ending. How much time do I got, Patrick?
We have 1 minute.
It's fine. I'll wrap this up really good. You should go see Halloween 2018. Do not watch that movie thinking that you watch all the sequels because then you can reference it and then you can call Danny McBride and Danny Elfman or whoever else worked on this goddamn movie and say, hey, look, guys, you cannot cheat me. I know you referenced Halloween 2, Halloween 4, H2O, and every other goddamn Halloween movie in there. So that's all I have to say about that. Let me just end with, again, I did like this movie.
Okay, 30 seconds left. I love the role reversals in here where Jason and Laurie Strode kind of had some role reversals. I thought it had some great kills, even the off-screen kills, because they referred back to him by showing the deaths. And then also I loved the theater was packed where I was, the audience reactions to those throwbacks, because the generation of me really got it and expressed their joy with those throwbacks where it was lost on the younger generation.
And it was a nice reversal of Hunt and Hunter also.
Right.
The end. And rant.
Proud of you.
Patrick, I think you said Jason and you meant Michael.
Oh, you know what? I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about Halloween, and everybody has that problem. It is the weirdest thing.
Danny Elfman, I apologize. He did not work on this movie. Let me just take that back. David Gordon Green. And I knew that, but I was just on a rant. Let's talk about The Loved Ones really quick because we're going kind of far on time.
We're running pretty long, but
okay,
you know what? We've had a lot to talk about.
Let's talk about
Halloween.
The Loved Ones. That was our feature. Patrick watched this one. Everybody was like, I think Maddie had already seen it. I had seen it a handful of times. I'm not sure about Greg, but everybody was 100% in on this movie. Like, let's watch that movie.
I was in on it. However, I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I'm going to step out of this and you guys can go for it.
You know, Greg, this is one that I'll get to the deets here in just a second, but this is one I definitely suggest that you take the time to watch.
Go back and watch it, dude.
It's really good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'll catch. Yeah, I'll watch it when I get the chance. But it's been tough with my work schedule and all that. I will watch it.
That, especially with the movie challenge going on and everything else. So here's the deets. The Loved Ones. Depending on where you are in this world, it was originally released in 2009 in Australia. And then I think 2012 in the United States, and it's now streaming on Amazon Prime. When Brent turns down his classmate Lola's invitation to the prom, she concocts a wildly violent plan for revenge. She enlists her father's help to throw a prom of her own where she is queen and Brent is king, whether he likes it or not. The Loved Ones is what happens when puppy love goes horribly, violently wrong.
That's a pretty good description.
Yeah.
IMDb rating 6.7. Metascore not available, which really surprised me because on Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it a 98%.
Damn.
And the audience gave it a 74%. So that's still really, really high for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Oh, so who wants to start?
I'll jump in and just say I actually didn't rewatch this movie. I had an insanely busy weekend and I spent most of today recovering from that. So I didn't rewatch it, but I watched this movie within the last year. And I just want to highlight that there are very few horror movies that stick with me anymore because I watch so many that it kind of... This one, there were parts of it that stuck with me. As I said before we started, the relationship between the father and daughter in this movie made my skin crawl.
That was creepy.
It was that's the kind of shit not the incest part. Jesus, my family's from Arkansas.
No, but way it makes you feel, that's what you enjoy.
That's what I want in a horror movie, is I want to be uncomfortable. And that movie made me incredibly uncomfortable. Like, it was, I mean, the gore was fun. I think it was a fun movie, but it just had that factor in it, that creep factor that I was like, ugh, hard pass. Pass. Yeah, that was, I think the acting was really good too. It was fantastic. It was, I liked this movie a lot.
I'm surprised I have never heard of this movie before.
Yeah, it doesn't have a huge, I think it kind of has like a little underground cult following, because I think I found it on something.
I random found it.
I random found it on a list, actually, because I was looking, when I do this, I look for, movies that happened in the last year or whatever, and I just kept going through things like top whatever horror movies. This happened to be on a couple of them, and I had literally never heard of it before, because 2009, 2012, that's quite a few years separate from now. So I have to say, I actually rewatched this because I enjoyed watching it so much the first time. And you guys know me, I don't like torture movies, and this was a torture movie.
It was.
But there was something about it that really stuck with me, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because you had some comic relief with that weird side story that had nothing to do with it. The
friend and the girlfriend.
The friend and the...
It did have something to do with it, though.
Did it?
Yeah, they tied it in at the end. So... sorry, Patrick.
No, go. Because I'm looking at you strangely because I couldn't figure that out.
If you flip, when she's flipping through the book, the girlfriend that's drinking and getting high and getting sick and fucking random dudes and shit, her brother was killed by that girl. He's in the book. So they show a picture of him and her with the family and stuff. He's in that book.
Okay. That's the only tie-in, though?
That's how they tie it in, though, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's no need to show the prom and the car fucking and everything.
But I felt that was relief from the other stuff. So I felt that it had a purpose.
Yeah.
Because the other stuff was so freaking intense that it gave me some time to sit back and kind of laugh, because like when they're going to prom and she starts grabbing his crotch and all this other stuff, that it did give you some sort of, I don't want to say comic relief, but that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
Well, like, I think what separates this movie from a lot of torture porns is, like, a lot of torture porn, there's not a whole lot of substance and story in it. It's just kind of like, how can we gross people out? But this one had, yes, there was torture in it, but I wouldn't consider this a torture porn movie. I don't, because I think it has that extra step, that extra story and substance that, as I said, I love Saw, but it doesn't have that step, story, substance, everything else going on. It's just kind of...
And they kind of gave Lola, Princess, we'll just call her Princess, because that's what Daddy kept calling her, was Princess.
No, we're not saying the daddy word on this podcast.
It was Daddy. She called him Daddy all the time. And that's
true.
I think that's his listing on IMDb. The character's name, I think, is Daddy. So I forgot where I was going on this. Lola, but what? That there was enough backstory with her because, she has the scrapbook and that provides a lot of backstory without having to take a lot of exposition or anything like that. And I think that helped develop her character, her daddy's character, even, God, what was her name? Pretty Eyes.
Oh, yeah. The older lady.
The older lady that it's obvious that he wasn't only abducting guys for his daughter, but he had also abducted someone for himself because she never referred to her as mommy or anything else like that. So, yeah, that was really kind of twisted. And then her just sitting there lobotomized was just crazy. Bright Eyes, that was her name, what they referred to her as.
Yeah, going back to Maddie, the first note on here we got was the father-daughter relationship was just kind of... I don't even think weird's the word for it. It was gross. And you mentioned Game of Thrones earlier, and I was like, at least they pull the trigger in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they don't make it. They don't make it weird.
Yeah, this was just like straight weird things going on. It had a lot of really good gore in it. A lot of really good gore in it that I enjoyed. The knife through the foot stuff and the carving into the chest and just all the stuff. There was a moment in there that I just had to laugh out loud because there's a moment where he escapes and he climbs a tree and they're throwing rocks at him to kind of knock him out of the tree. And eventually they hit him, and the way he falls and hits that car and bounces off, just made me like, I laughed. I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so hard. I just could not let it go. Just the way he thudded against that car.
You know, I gotta say kudos to that stunt man though, because he hit that car so awkwardly. I mean, it looked real. I mean, even if it was a stunt double or if it was a dummy or something like that, it looked real and it looked like it fucking hurt.
I was right up that car. Oh my God. I was laughing so hard. So the actors were great in it. It was an original story. It's not something that you've really seen a lot of.
But it's something I've heard people joke about, which I think is the funniest part of this whole movie is there's kind of an underlying joke of like the crazy guy, the crazy girl keeping people. Maybe that's just my shitty friends that make that joke. I love you guys. But like the people under like being kept under the floorboards and stuff.
I'm getting to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like you're right, it's an original story, but I feel like it's something people have joked about for forever. Like everyone has a kid in their class that we all know has like his mom's tits sliced off and in a box under his bed. We all know that person.
I don't know that person. I'm sorry.
Well, we probably know that person, but we just don't know that that's what he had.
You know what I really liked also was actually, it was quick to the action. 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was an hour and 22-minute movie, I think.
Yeah.
20 minutes into this movie is all it gave you to kind of set up. And then it went right in to all the good stuff. So it does not make you wait a super long time to develop a ton, but it developed just enough to like give a shit.
And even cutting away to the other scenes, the ones that didn't involve Brent and Lola, Princess and Daddy and all that stuff, those didn't last very long.
No.
Like I said, it was just enough to give you a little bit of relief and then bring you right back in.
Yeah. I didn't think they needed the basement trolls.
I think it was fun.
I don't think they needed it. There was no reason to have those things down there other than kill count and to watch Daddy be eaten. That's it. Those are the two things they did down there. Otherwise, there's no reason for those things down there at all.
So you don't think there should have been a basement thing at all either then?
I think kicking him down into the basement was like, that's kind of that's what that's not what I would do, but that's what I would do.
Shit.
But it gave him a reason.
He's the guy with the
guy.
in a box.
Shut the fuck up. It gave him bodies to stack so he could get out of there. So I get it. That's why he's down there. I wanted that crazy bitch to live. I wanted Princess to live.
Really?
I was like, don't run her face over. Don't do that. That's not cool. Let that chick live another day and go to a funny farm and like, let's follow her there and see who she falls in love with. Cause there's a shit ton of crazy people there.
So are you saying you'd like to see you would have liked to have seen a sequel, or you'd like to see like a scene at the end?
Maybe a little like a stinger, like of her sitting there falling in love with the crazy guy across the room playing chess or something. I don't know. But I didn't want her face ran over, I guess. I didn't think she needed that. She deserved it, but she didn't need it. Also, the mother at the end did not react for shit when her kid got out of that car all bloodied and everything. She was just like, oh, welcome home. You're got fucked up, but welcome home. Let me give you a hug. And she gave that big little group hug at the end. Without her face didn't change at all. It was just, I'm happy to see you. What kind of prom night did you have?
I thought that was kind of odd as well, because she had some really great moments prior to that.
Yeah.
Breaking down and just being hysterical because, I mean, obviously she had already lost her husband and, you know, now she's thinking she's lost her son.
Yeah.
So.
And the girlfriend took a really long time to tie Lola and her boyfriend together.
Well,
it took...
But
little
it's
too long.
Right, but it's one of those things where your boyfriend tells you, well, this girl asked me out, and then tie that into, well, my boyfriend's missing. I mean, it's only a day.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that unless she happens to know that Princess is fucking nuts.
And maybe he wanders off a lot and climbs the mountains with his bare hands a lot.
But that comes into play later, though. You know, him doing the rock climbing comes into play when he has to use his upper body strength to get out of that pit.
Yeah. The other cool thing, the last cool thing I thought of, and I don't remember seeing this the first time I watched the movie, but I remembered it last night, was at the beginning of the movie, they're dodging a guy to hit the tree. Yeah. And it comes back to that at the end.
That was one of Princess's.
So I thought that was really cool also.
Yeah, so, I think because at first I was going, well, why did they even start with that? Other than to say that he can't drive, so his girlfriend drives for him, which causes some tension with the mom and some other things. But then when they were going through the scrapbook and they show that picture and that ties in, I thought, oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm glad they were able to do that.
They brought that around really nice.
And then they brought it in at the end when he was able to swerve past his girlfriend and then come back onto the road to smack into Princess.
Yeah. So I guess the only downer for me on that movie was they killed Princess. I would have liked to see a little bit of a punch at the end, but I like those kind of things.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You also like to see everybody die.
Yeah, it's like either kill everybody or, let the...
Or something good. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I get that.
psycho chick live, I guess.
I thought the use of music in this movie was really, really good. That whole "Am I Not Pretty Enough?"
That was awesome.
That they overused. Or that I don't want to say they overused. They used over and over, but it was effective. They didn't overuse it.
And her singing it at the end.
Her singing it at the very end, and then also that song playing over this montage of all of her dolls in sexual positions. That was so freaking bizarre, because you're doing that. You're going, what the fuck is going on here? And then it cuts to the scrapbook and you're seeing all this weird shit going on. You're going, oh, okay, she's crazy. We get it.
Yeah.
We get it now.
I do wish this movie would come out in like mainstream a little more because I haven't seen a lot of Australian horror like this, and then like the only other one I can really conjure in memory is Wolf Creek.
Oh,
yeah, Wolf Creek, yeah.
Wolf Creek is not great. Like, it's just kind of middle. I think it's just kind of middle of the road. But like, I don't really think of Australian horror, and I think this is the only movie I really think of as like a highlight. And I think if it kind of caught on more, I think maybe we would see more of what Australia's got to offer.
I caught it on Hulu the first time I caught it. It was Hulu.
Yeah,
so
I think,
yeah, where I caught it.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I tried to find it on Hulu. It's no longer there.
It's
I know it's on
Prime
Amazon
now,
Prime for sure.
Those were my main notes on the Love.
There were just little touches in this whole thing that I thought were really great. When they were doing the crowning of King and Queen with those little paper party hats, and when it's announced that she's queen, and it's like blow into your whistle, which is those weird New Year's things. Just little things like that just kept him on edge. There were things that what did she inject into his neck? I couldn't quite tell.
It was it looked like Windex, but I mean, like, what could she have done?
It was
that
blue,
wouldn't kill him.
But it was blue. It was something that wouldn't kill him, but would destroy his voice because at that point he was not able to talk anymore. And you learn from the chuds down in the basement that they couldn't talk, and that's been probably years separate. So it's obviously something that really destroys the vocal cords. But I had no idea what she injected them with.
There's a lot of horror movies where people are just injecting people with shit and they never say what it is. And I'm like, where are these mysterious drugs? Who's selling them to you is the big thing. I'm like, which pharmacist is just like, oh yeah,
you can have some of that.
Yeah, you can have some of this. It's fine.
We're totally spoiling this for Greg, by the way, aren't we, Greg?
Oh shit, Greg's still there?
Yeah, he's still on. He's been listening.
Quiet. I thought he hung up.
No, he said he was going to
listen. I'm muted.
There were some other things that I thought were really nice touches. Like when they're nailing his foot to the floor with the knives.
Yeah.
And she kept saying, "Cry, cry," and he refused to do that. I mean, this guy had his skull drilled into, and he's like, no. I mean, he put up a hell of a fight.
Which character, Daddy or Princess, did you think was more crazy?
Princess.
Okay,
Yeah, she kind of, I mean, everybody was nuts, but I just want to say Lola did such a fantastic job of being nuts.
Yeah, the actress who did this, I don't have her name down here, but she was phenomenal.
When they do the salt bit and the dad's just like a little bit of salt at a time and she takes the lid off and just fucking dumps it, I was like, that's the worst thing you could ever do.
Didn't she say something like, too much is bad for you or something like that?
Yeah.
Talking about the health issues, but then she dumps the whole fucking thing on him.
That made me hurt.
Oh, yeah, that was great. I love the little things, like after he abducted Brent, he's driving along, there's a dead possum on the road, he just stops, backs up, grabs it, throws it in the car, and then keeps going because he knows he's got to feed the chuds later on.
Yeah.
There's just little things in this that I think nice little touches that made this movie better than what it probably was in the beginning, and just made it really, really enjoyable for me. I gotta say, for a movie that I don't think I ever would have really enjoyed, I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So Good. Should we give scores?
Let's give it scores. Our ranking system is we go by scary factor, we go by gore factor, and then overall rating. So let's start with the scare factor.
Scary wise for me, 2. I mean, there's no scares. I mean, there's nothing scary about it. 1 or 2. It's pretty light.
I'll actually give it 4. It's not scary, but as I'm going to go back to that creepy daddy-daughter vibe.
Gotcha.
It gave me the creeps. So
Gotcha.
I'll give it a 4 or 5, I think.
And I got to say, I like how consistent they were on that whole almost incestuous relationship. And it wasn't from him more, it was from her.
Yeah.
She totally had daddy issues going on in this movie. It's not that he was not
helping,
open to it, I guess, but she was always the one instigating, and then he would react to certain things that she would do. So,
They got so close at one point. And I was just like,
during
do
the
it.
dance,
Just do it.
No.
Just fucking do it.
No, I think they stopped it at the right moment.
They did.
Yeah.
You know,
They did.
so the scare factor. I agree with Josh. It's probably 2, maybe even lower, because there just wasn't anything
scary.
there
Yeah.
to
It's safe.
build the tension, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So let's go with the gore factor then.
Yeah, 7 or 8 for me. 7, 8. Mm-hmm. It was up there. There's a lot of good gore spots in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me.
I'll give it a 5, which is pretty high for me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that they did, it wasn't outrageous, but it looked painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want any of that to happen to me.
I think because it was handled so well, I would probably give it a 7 and 8 as you know, kind of like what Josh did, because they didn't hide stuff on this. I mean, like, we stabbing him in the neck and all that other stuff. They handled it really, really well in this.
Some good spots.
So overall rating,
8 for me. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, 8. This was a fantastic movie.
yeah, I give it 8 or 9. I was just like I said, I was just pleasantly surprised with this one. I think you guys are rubbing off on me or something, because I'm much more open to these types of movies now.
Well, as I said, would you classify this as a torture porn?
No,
Because it's
I
not.
don't think
I was
so,
gonna say
though.
it doesn't have that just straight. Look at this shit. Like,
No, but there's enough of the torture in there that I would say before, maybe a year ago, I would have preferred not to have seen that. I don't need to see anybody driving knives through somebody's feet into the floor.
it's not like you're watching Hostel, though.
I
it's
think the
way
next
safer
step is
than-
for you to watch Martyrs.
Oh no! I'll give me about a year.
Okay.
maybe.
Baby steps.
We'll see.
All right, I'm
We'll
writing
see.
this date down. It is October.
So we definitely recommend The Loved Ones
Yes.
to everybody. It's on Amazon Prime. It's free on Prime. Prime costs you nothing to have an account. Well, yeah, it does. I fucking lied there. There's a charge for Prime.
One of your friends has Prime, and
Yeah.
they will let you borrow that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing about Prime is they don't care if you share.
Yeah, they don't.
Hunt it down. The Loved Ones is fantastic.
Yep.
So plugs. Who wants to do plugs? Greg, do you still want to plug?
I can plug.
Go plug.
My name is Greg the Movie Guy, and I'm the best movie reviewer that you have never heard of. I write movie reviews with a positive spin over at gregthemovieguy.com. Most recently, I've dropped a couple really, really exciting reviews. One from Prairie Lights Film Festival, Dreaming of a Better World, has topped itself as the most viewed post that I have put on my page, and I'm very excited about that. I got a message from the director herself that said that she was very appreciative of the words that I had said, so that's got to be worth something good. Recently posted a review on the newest Halloween movie, and coming soon you will see a review on The Star is Born, or A Star is Born. That is gregthemovieguy.com. Pop on by and read what you see.
Maddie, you got a plug, right?
Yeah, I do. And I also want to touch really quick on Prairie Lights. As I said, I was not there, and I kind of felt like I was coming across as being a bitch, that I didn't want to be there. Last year, I was in a car accident, and I have a damaged disc in my spine, and it makes it incredibly difficult for me to sit for over an hour. So I would not have been able to sit through hours and hours and hours of film. I would have not been having a good time. So I was not there because I did not want to, just because there are not enough painkillers in the world. But onto my plug, Screambox. I know Halloween's kind of wrapping up, but horror can happen all year long. So sign up. You can still get your free trial. They're doing something right now really cool where you can see stuff for free. I don't even think you need an account. They're really rocking it over there for Halloween. So if you are one of those people that only watches scary movies on Halloween, sign up, get your free trial. You'll probably stay forever. Only $4 a month. You can do it. So screenboxtv.com.
Yeah, my plug is basically gone and over, but who says you can't start over? Look, we went to the Prairie Lights Film Festival this just a few
2
weeks
weekends
ago.
ago.
2 weeks ago. It was so awesome, and it was such a good time, and there's such awesome people there, and a ton of great filmmakers to talk to. The Film Freeway page is open. If you are a filmmaker, you are in Nebraska, from Nebraska, have ties to Nebraska, go check out that Film Freeway page. You can submit your movie now. Go if you are a filmmaker and do that. Next year's festival is October 11th, 12th, and 13th. They're already tossing around a ton of really fantastic, fun ideas of the kind of stuff they're going to show there next year. I'm super excited about just the stuff I've heard. Go to the Prairie Lights Film Fest page on Facebook and just check out last year's, past years, all the years, and just kind of see what it's all about. As I said, especially if you're a filmmaker, that Film Freeway page is open. It's an awesome place to show your stuff. Go check it out. That's my plug. Go, Patrick.
All right. I'll make this quick. Everybody, help us out. Make sure that you head on over to iTunes or whatever service you're listening to this podcast on and review and rate us. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, and many, many more. You can check us out online. Find us on Twitter at mfrightcast. Follow us and join the conversation in our Facebook group at Midnight Frightcast. And you can also find us on Instagram. So share, and share some more. Post it on your walls and tell your friends. And also be sure to check out our films at midnightfrightfilms.com. You can find us on YouTube as well, Midnight Fright Films.
So for Maddie and Patrick and the Doctor of Filmonomics, I'm Josh. That was the Midnight Frightcast, episode number 42. We will see you next time.